Welcome back. We are diving into the BC election that's happening provincially in just a few weeks' time. And joining me again are Brock Stephenson and Allie Blades. Allie was alluding to this plethora of independent candidates that have kind of come out of the woodwork as a result of the leader of the BC United suspending the campaign for that party. But not everybody's happy to switch over to the Conservative Party. And plus, they already had their candidates picked and running. So, Brock, explain to me how this trickles down. So, we have the conservative candidates in British Columbia who had their spots. They've nominated, I assume, most of their candidates already by the time this Kevin Falcon decision was made. Kevin said he's not going to rerun. But then, what happened to the BC United candidates?
So the BC United had about 57 candidates nominated. They were sort of left to whatever fate may have, and almost 20 of them decided to run as either an independent or a non-affiliated candidate. Some of those are current members of the Legislative Assembly, the British Columbia representatives, who think that their name as the local MLA can help them. A lot of them have never held public office before and just feel jilted and want to sort of take a stand. On the other hand, three of the BC Conservatives who were asked to step aside didn't go happily, and they're also still running with no affiliation. And we're going to see probably about 20 candidates who were BC United or BC Conservative in August running against the center-right coalition free enterprise option and maybe trying to play spoiler and elect an NDP MLA.
Wow, it's fascinating to see how this can happen so close to the election. I mean, I don't know. I find this is very interesting to watch. Ali, will once the government is formed, and again things are neck and neck. We don't know how this is going to play out on election day, October 19th. But what is the likelihood that some of them will still want to keep the brand BC United, even though it seems to be not going very well? What is the likelihood some of them would say, let's just bring that party back? Or do you think they'll just revert to BC Liberals?
Well, these are all options on the table. There are a few paths that they could go down. Creating a party is a lot of work, and so there's this potential desire to just roll into an infrastructure that already has a lot of these political party apparatus things already set up. But perhaps the thinking also is that if new people go in with a new leader that's not Kevin Falcon, that they could change the BC United for the better. But either way, it's going to be a lot of work, no matter what path they go down. If BC United ends up getting dissolved, this won't be an overnight process. This will take a while, and so if there's a potential that the BC Conservatives and United both end up in opposition, perhaps there's also a path where they could work together.
Hmm. That's fair point. Let's switch gears for a moment because, of course, it's the issues that really matter in the election and the people who are, either suffering under issues or policies that they don't like or that they want to see a betterment of. So why don't we start with you, Brock? Which issues, in your opinion, are top of mind for voters as they head to the polls?
So the economy is always a big issue. British Columbia has got the most expensive housing in the country. That's a big issue. Healthcare is a problem. There's no doctors. The hospitals are full. They're shutting down emergency rooms. And then there's just the general fear of lawlessness. British Columbia is pretty laissez-faire as far as things go, but people have gotten fed up that there's stranger attacks, people being stabbed outside of coffee shops. In early September, a person who had multiple arrests went and cut off someone's hand, walked a couple blocks, killed someone. And these happen not daily, but several times a week in Vancouver. They're starting to spread to other urban areas in the province. People are fed up. They're thinking enough is enough. And the NDP hasn't promised too much, but it's not delivering on what it's promised. So they may be in trouble. And the BC Conservatives are trying to position themselves to a point where they're capitalizing on it. Even recently, the NDP said they're following the BC Conservative lead and are considering involuntary treatment of some of the addicts, which the NDP could have gone a different tact and pretty much accused them of some pretty mean things. And instead, they're following the BC Conservative platform, trying to reduce the room between the NDP and the Conservatives and hoping they can hold on to power for a third term.
Wow, that's quite shocking to see an NDP government wanting to mimic some policy suggestions from the Conservative Party. Wow, I mean, honestly, politics definitely does make some strange bedfellows. We have heard of a lot of the, obviously, the drug is a huge issue, the drug use and overdose, safe supply. We're going to dive into more of these issues once we return from this commercial break. Please stick around.